welcome to another episode of Mole in the Morning and your gaming news for October 17th, 2022. And this will be a lengthy one. We have tons of news coming up and some really heartbreaking ones. Please keep that in mind. I will definitely give out a warning when we are getting to the more problematic news for today. So just a fair warning that will be in here. But let's jump right into the whole news thing because, as I said, there is a lot. The first news is interesting. Good old Silent Hill, yes, the official Silent Hill Twitter account has announced that they will have a showcase on Wednesday, October 19th. That is in 2 days at 2 p.m. Pacific time. That is 5 p.m. East Coast time, and for all the people living in the UK and in the rest of Europe, that is 10 p.m. UK time and 11 p.m. Central European time, and then you have to figure out your time zones because I cannot be asked. And so they will have a showcase to talk about the future of Silent Hill. So the thing is, we are already knowing a lot about that there are apparently 3 Silent Hill games in the making. Like, one is a remake of Silent Hill 2 apparently, and then there are 2 new ones. And it's we will see what it really is. Keep your expectations low. I mean, it's still Konami we are talking about. They haven't really changed too much in the last few years, so yay. Especially last week, they just had an announcement that they are now moving forward with their Web 3.0 and also NFT thingy. And it's oh god, please don't. Also very interesting, just a little bit after the official Silent Hill Twitter account posted it, Elijah Wood, Elijah Wood, has been retweeting this tweet with the big eyes emote. And I might say, yeah, okay, maybe he is a fan of Silent Hill. Elijah Wood is normally not really talking about video games too much on his Twitter account. Interestingly enough, he's not doing a lot of it. He was in video games though. Yep. He was in some video games and also voiced some games. I think he actually voiced, let me see. I think he actually voiced also some horror games. Yeah, the last game I think he did was Transference, which was a horror-esque game. He definitely did voice acting for video games. He did Broken Age. He was in the Spyro games. Yeah. He definitely did. Oh yeah, and of course he was in Psychonauts too. How could I completely forget that? He is Nick John Smith. God damn it. Totally forgot about that. Yes. So, again, Elijah Wood has been doing voiceovers in video games, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is maybe doing the voiceover in one of the new Silent Hill games, or even one of the main characters. So we will see about that. But again, keep your expectations in check, because even if the games might look good, there might be some Konami tomfoolery inside the games. So beware. Yep. All right, next news. This is another bad news for good old Ubisoft, who has been struggling with keeping their developers basically to their company because the company is in shambles and nobody at the top of the company wants to admit that. And they are basically telling everyone everything is fine, everything is good, we are the best company in the world, please continue to work. And we have now seen for the last few months that that is actually not the case. And we hear more than often that developers are just like, Ubisoft? Nah, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Speaking of which, apparently David Griville, if you don't know who that is, which is totally understandable because I didn't know who that is, but he is the director of the Splinter Cell remake. Well, was the director of the Splinter Cell remake. And yeah, he has now just left the company, even though the remake of the Splinter Cell game is still like in the full process. And when the director basically leaves in the middle of the development phase, that is not necessarily a good sign, right? Like, don't get me wrong, people are leaving projects quite a bit. It's nothing unusual. The one thing you really have to learn about when people are leaving a gaming company is the timing of said leaving that gaming company. So doing it in the middle of the development, when you are like a high-profile developer at a high-profile project, there has to be like personal reasons for it, which he makes clear isn't. He just says, it is now time for a new adventure. I was like, but okay, sure, but do you not work at Splinter Cell? Okay, well, apparently not. Right, so yeah, this is not so great. As I said, like, Ubisoft has lost a lot of high-profile people in the last year. Yep, they're really struggling to get new people in. So, speaking of losing high-profile people, so this is a bit awkward. As you might remember, people were very surprised to hear that the voice actress Miss Taylor, who was normally voicing Bayonnetta, will not return in Bayonnetta 3. And the reason they were actually officially giving was scheduling issues. She had other things to do, and they couldn't really find like the right schedule for her and for the team when they needed her. So they basically both agreed that it would be better to find somebody else. And everyone was like, yeah, okay, hey, that makes sense, right? If she has a gig somewhere else, and this is like, it happens in the show business all the time, unfortunately. It sucks, and they could do something about it. But most companies are just then looking for a replacement, which is also well suited for this. So, this is now really bad, because it turns out that was a freaking lie. That was an absolute lie, because Helena Taylor did go to Twitter with some official videos, and she was explaining that she was actually wanting to do the role again, but she had to refuse because Platinum Games were offering her a flat $4,000 for the whole game. The countless hours of work she would have to put into a game series we know made over $450 million before merchandise. And Platinum Games was like, Here's 4,000. Here's 4,000. That's all we give you, which is completely crazy. But the really crazy part here is, and this makes also absolutely no sense, right? You would now say, okay, well, then maybe they didn't have more budget and they had to go like with something cheaper, right? You know who they got to voice Bayonnetta in 3? Jennifer Hale. Of all the actresses they could have gone with, they got Jennifer Hale. And if like, I'm sorry, Mo, like Jennifer Hale, like who is she? Well, probably the most well-known character she ever did is Femme Shepherd, right? Like female shepherd. She is also in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. She's in Star Wars The Old Republic. She was in Metal Gear Solid, Sons of Liberty. She's in a lot of like Capcom games. And like, are you kidding me? I am pretty sure at this point that Jennifer Hale is not voice acting your game for $4,000. Like, Jennifer Hale is like, she's also in Overwatch, Metroid Prime, Bioshock Infinite. Again, she has so many big names under her umbrella. Like, Jennifer Hale is not even picking up the phone for 4,000. Like, she doesn't even look at the offer for 4,000. So when you were telling me that you couldn't like get the other old voice actress because, well, she wanted more than 4,000, it's like, no. This is insulting. This is absolutely, like, again, Jennifer Hale is not looking at an offer where they are telling her we pay you 4,000 for a whole video game gig. Like, Jennifer Hale doesn't need that bullshit. And that they try to pull this with the other voice actress pretty much means to me they didn't want her anymore. They didn't make her the offer because this is really what they were able to pay her or what they thought would be the right amount to pay her. They just wanted her out without a PR disaster. Right? Like, if they would have told her, nah, we don't want you anymore, we want like somebody well-known, then that would have been a big PR mess. So they tried to do it sneaky, and it became a big PR mess. I hate when companies are doing this. This is so cruel, and also like just, it's like lying. It's like deceiving the people. And also Helena Taylor said that she has been unfortunately suffering for years through anxiety and suicidal tendencies because of financial worries. And she explained that she had to audition for the role of Bayonnetta 3, which is standard practice. However, the initial offer was insulting. After she wrote a letter to Bayonnetta creator Hideki Kamiya, Kamiya replied that he valued her talent and treasured his memory of meeting her. Though Taylor was optimistic, this letter was then she got was then $4,000. And again, it's like, nah. Even more hilarious, Hideki Kamiya has responded on Twitter indirectly, decrying an attitude of untruth and calling the situation sad and deplorable. And people were calling him out on this, and they were like, hey, but you told us at the beginning it was through scheduling conflicts. You were lying to us. And he was just starting to block everyone. And then it became apparently so much that he deleted his Twitter account and just left. Will that stop people from buying the game? No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. Yeah, he was like I looked at some of his tweets and man, he is a dipshit. But it's like one of those additional man platinum games. What is going on at your company moments? Like in the last few months, platinum games didn't really had like a lot of good things going on. I was like, what's going on there? But yeah, the whole Bayonnetta mess is really, really unfortunate this close to the release. Will it change anything? Nah. The game will sell like hot pockets. Everybody wants to play the new Bayonnetta game. And, you know, I said this on Twitter, but it reminds me very much of the Metal Gear Solid 5. Oh man, sorry. My throat got super dry. Oh, I hate when that happens. But this reminds me very much of the whole Metal Gear Solid mess, right? Where they took David Hayter out of the game, threw him basically away without even reaching out to him, and were just, what's his 24 face? Sutherland? Kiefer Sutherland in there. I totally get it for Kojima. That he probably, like, I assume that for Kojima, there was actually like an idea behind this. I wouldn't have been surprised that when his initial idea was that the character you're playing has a different voice than Big Boss, and the Big Boss. Oh, by the way, spoilers. And the Big Boss. Sorry for that. Spoilers. Big spoilers. Big spoilers here. But the Big Boss was meant to be voiced by David Hayter, right? And that they wanted to have like a difference there. Maybe it was just Kojima who really likes to fancy himself now with movie stars, because that's apparently also something he likes to do. Yeah. It's just I like, look, if you have a series which really relies on those voice actors, I don't know. Like I totally associate certain characters with certain voices. So it's like really unfortunate when they are doing it, and they are not doing it because it makes like sense. Like sometimes those voice actors are not available anymore. They don't want to do it anymore. Or something else is happening, like Joker in the Batman games. Right? Like tons of people love Mark Hamill's Joker. And they associate Mark Hamill with Joker. But Mark Hamill has now said multiple times that he cannot really do the voice anymore, and especially not over a long time, because it literally destroys his voice. So, yeah, it makes sense. Right? There are circumstances where switching out a voice character makes sense. But basically switching out a character just because you want to fancy yourself with like a bigger name, I find that atrocious. It's like, especially Bayonetta's voice, like holy shit, she has like, oh, if we should ever do a playthrough of Bayonetta, Her voice is amazing. Like, it fits Bayonnetta so well. This is unfortunately a trend we have seen in the whole animated gaming industry quite a bit, that for whatever reasons, games try to get more and more movie stars. It's the same thing with the Mario movie, right? It's like, why didn't you, like, question here, why didn't you take the English Mario voice actor? Why did it have to be Chris Pratt? Like, it's literally Mario animated. It's literally like video game graphics. I am pretty sure the original voice actor of Mario could have done this without an issue. Right? Like, yeah, it is, it again, the disrespect and lying to the community that they literally said a few weeks ago when they announced the Switch that it was scheduling issues, right? Like, that is one of the worst things, that they lied to the community. They lied to everyone saying it was a scheduling issue. Whoopsie. I was like, no, it wasn't at all. So this is a quick update on the RTX 4080. If you have missed my news on Friday, the RTX 4080 12GB version will not release because Nvidia, quote unquote, has seen that it confused people and they shouldn't have named it a 4080. I was like, no. The confusion was absolutely wanted, but they would have probably got dragged into court, especially in Europe. They would have been dragged to court about this. Absolutely. So, now you might wonder, okay, what's the update here? Well, the update here is that now multiple third-party manufacturers like Corsair, Asus, MSI have been spoken out about this, and they're not happy. Because if you haven't seen my video from Friday on my other YouTube channel, well, if you're watching this on that YouTube channel, the other video on Friday, Nvidia did not have a Founders Edition for the 12GB version of the 4080. They didn't have their own card for this, and this was solely done through third-party manufacturers. So they told the third-party manufacturers a month before the release that probably all the cards, all the packages, all the branding, all the marketing material they have been preparing for this release are completely null and void at this point, and they have to redo them. And that is exactly what happened, apparently. Like, especially MSI has already said that, great, we have thousands of those cards already waiting in warehouses, neatly packaged and ready to go out to the consumer on release day. Now we have to recall them. We have to completely, like, first we had to get them out of the package. We have to go into the BIOS because we have to name the card to a different name where we don't even know the name. Nvidia has not told the third-party manufacturers, apparently, what the new name of the card is. So they have to change the BIOS around because they have to have, like, the right identification. Then they have to completely redo all the packages, reprint the names, the ID code. This is shit ton of money. And the margins on GPUs are already razor thin for third-party manufacturers. And if there was still a doubt that EVGA did the right thing to leave this whole business, then I think that doubt left. Like, EVGA was exactly pointing to those kind of behaviors at NVIDIA over the last few years and how razor thin the margins are on those cards, and that they didn't want to stand for this anymore. And now we see exactly like this happening. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Speaking of mess, G4 TV. Remember G4 TV, which started last year in summer? Yeah, they're now shutting down. The investment and efforts to revive the network just didn't gain traction. And hundreds of people lost their job overnight. Because Comcast Spectator didn't want to pump any money into this. I have to say though, like, their build up for G4 TV was actually pretty good. They put like really good marketing work to like hype up a G4 is back. But then the moment the whole network started, everybody just forgot about it. Oh God, my haircut. I'm sorry. That's horrible. I have to fix that. But yeah, it's just afterwards it's just kind of disappeared. I have never heard about G4 TV and what they're doing anymore. And I think in a highly competitive world like YouTube and Twitch and all that, you have to come up with some really crazy stuff. Like, yeah, some really crazy stuff. Like my hair. It's horrid. We're just going with it. Okay. We are. Wait, he says that. He's like kind of trying to tame it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm so sorry. I need a haircut. Okay, back to the news. Sorry for the interruption. This is the moment where you would cut it out on YouTube to get frosted tips. No. We're not going back into 2000s. Ain't gonna happen. But speaking of which, oh boy. So this is another update, another topic we had over the weekend. And we have to talk about Batman Gotham Knight. So, as you might know, if you have watched my video, Gotham Knight, or Gotham Knights, sorry, just Gotham Knights, okay? I always say Batman Arkham something. It's not. It's just Gotham Knights. I'm a horrible human being. Do not hate me. But no, Gotham Knights will only run on 30 FPS on all the next-gen platforms. And I said it in the video, we can now talk about this, if this is really necessary or not, for a long time, and then just fight about it. But the thing which really pissed me off was how they did it, right? They didn't fully announce it. They still didn't officially announce it. They just did go into their Discord. They posted it at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Yes. 6 p.m. Pacific time is when they posted. So deep at night in Europe and already pretty late in the East Coast, right? And they were like, hey, yeah, so Gotham Knights is locked to 30 FPS on PlayStation 5, on Xbox Series, and on the Xbox Series, because it's X and S, right? And they basically try to hide this. And I talked about this in my latest video, but this is where the update is coming in. And where I hit my microphone. Well, I hope everyone is now awake. Where we really have to talk about developers adding some wisdom. Dear developers, I highly appreciate you. I highly appreciate the work you're putting into, right, and into your games. But you're always demanding that people who have no clue about game development do not speak about this and shut the hell up. First of all, no. Explain it to the people then, because you're doing a pretty shitty job to do so for years, just saying. But the actual point is, look, just because you're a developer doesn't mean you have the area of expertise in every area. Like, just because you are a pilot doesn't mean you know how to repair an airplane. You're using that airplane, you're making sure that people are coming from A to B safely, or getting from A to B safely, right? But you probably don't know how to completely repair an Airbus. Right? Like, pretty sure that your area of expertise is pretty narrow. The same goes for me. But unfortunately, Lee Devonaut, he is an animator at Rocksteady. So by the way, Rocksteady is not developing this Batman game, aka Gotham Knights, right? Rocksteady is doing something completely else. We don't know what's going on. So that this dude is speaking out for another studio is already like, huh, really? But he was saying, and let me showcase this, I wish gamers understood what 60 FPS means in terms of all the things they lose to make the game run that fast, especially taking into account that we have a current gen console that's not much better than a last gen console. And then he was going, Series S GPU mostly. Multi-platform games always have to optimize for the lowest performer. The Series S exists though, and Microsoft won't let you launch on one without the other, an entire generation of games, hamstrung by that potato. Okay, dude. First of all, that's a bit bullshit. Especially optimization. Have you seen the requirements for Gotham Knights on the PC? The requirements on Gotham Knights on the PC is literally a PlayStation 4. I can show you that again. Those are the requirements on the PC. 60 FPS, 60, not 30, 60 FPS at 1080p. And you need a GeForce GTX 6060 Ti or a Radeon RX 5090. That is PS4 hardware right here. Like, just to put that into perspective, okay? And keep in mind, the Series X is more powerful than that. Like, the Series S is more powerful than this. So, but what that means is, that's weird, because this is the minimum requirement for the PC. Wouldn't that mean that this is also like the only thing you can manage on the PC? I was like, no, it doesn't work that way. Like, and also another point I made over the weekend on Twitter regarding all of this is, folks. Gotham Knights. I always forget Knights. Is an Unreal Engine 4 game. It is an Unreal 4 game. An engine which has been optimized to death. Like, let me give you an example, just to understand this. Fortnite is an Unreal Engine 4 game. Around 100 players on a huge island where buildings are sprawling out of the ground in milliseconds, where there are live events which are changing the map procedurally on the fly while people building their buildings and shooting themselves in the head and destroying shit around them. You want to know what the Series S can do FPS wise? 120 FPS. Oh, magic! Wonder how that works. Because there are options. And yes, he is saying that, oh, I wonder why people don't understand, like for 60 FPS, how much they have to give up on this. Yes. No, like, dude, people are aware of what they have to give up for this. But people are willing to do that if it is a quote-unquote option. It's not saying that you have to make it mandatory, but you could offer an extra mode which is doing this. And that is what most games are doing right now. They are offering multiple modes you can utilize, like on the PC, to get the preference. So what the company has decided to do here is to say, nah, that's too much effort. Nah, that's not worth it. Let's just lock it to the lowest like hardware we have. Don't offer anything, whatever. Like, you're an animator. You are an animator. Like, you might wanna inform yourself how like the technical optimization stuff works. And before people say like, nah, they definitely know about this, and who are you to talk about this? Look, no. Let me give you an example why I'm not like, why I have sometimes issues with developers who are leaving their area of expertise to trust on other stuff in their games. A few years ago, there was a game called Rime. And Rime came with de novo, a copyright protection. And people figured out very quickly that the game would go to shit, FPS-wise, when de novo was checking if you basically had like a real version and not a pirated one. Right. And it would especially check it when you were looking at the trees. For whatever reason, you were looking at the trees, de novo was activated and was checking if you like have like a not pirated version. And people were going to Steam and to like forums and whatnot, and they were like, look at this. We can prove that de novo is degrading the performance in your game. And I kid you not, the lead producer of this game came forward and was like, you people, you just don't understand game development. Like, if we wouldn't put in a copyright protection, people who would pirate the game would get a downgraded version of the game. The sound might not play right, the quality of the graphics may degrade, some of the gameplay elements might be bugged because they are getting a bad version of the game without the copyright protection. And it's like, what? that's not how piracy works in the gaming industry at all. Like, this is not like a Nike shoe, which was like, it's like a fake one, and they used like some shitty material or whatever, right? It's like, what are you even talking about? And then they said like, yeah, hey, by the way, if you can crack the game, we will release an uncracked version of the game, and then you can see it for yourself. Yada yada. The game got cracked very quickly, I think in 1 or 2 days, and then they were releasing their own non-copyrighted version, and everything was fine. It's like, dude, like, who told you this? Like, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And yeah, just look, man, just stick to what you know, or what you at least really believe you know. Please, I'm begging you. Please. Thank you. All right. Next news. And this is the last news for today. Let me drink something. In the meanwhile, while I drink something, the next news we will talk about, I was really contemplating if I wanted to talk about this. But I will do anyways, because there's a lot to take away here. And for content creation in particular. And to make this very clear, the next part of the news is a tough one. And yeah, you might not want to stick around for that, because there is, unfortunately, it will be an abuse topic. So I will take something to drink here, and then you can decide if you want to stick around for that topic or not. All right. So, where to start? Over the weekend, there was a stream by Twitch streamer Amouranth, or her real name, Caitlin Siragusa, and she had a normal stream on Twitch. But it did turn out not to be a normal stream at all, because she first revealed that she is actually married. She has a husband. And why she revealed that became pretty clear very quickly. Because the husband was abusing her. And that became clear when the husband was calling her. I will not play the clips because holy shit. Like, if you were looking for a description how a menace sounds at phone, that was her husband. And she also showed live on stream WhatsApp messages between her and her husband for months and months and months. I think she did go even so far back to like last year. And you saw like those normal messages like, hi honey, good morning, yada yada yada, like the normal stuff. And then there were some really crazy messages where he was basically threatening her dogs. Like, he would shoot the dogs and he would kill them. if she doesn't continue what she is doing. Like, she wanted apparently to get out of this whole OnlyFans thing on being like a naughty streamer, so to speak. And it was apparently the husband who threatened her and made her continuing doing it, which is also a huge problem, that the husband has apparently complete control about all of her social media accounts, bank account, phone account. Everything is over the husband. The husband has complete control, and he is using her. And this was apparently her last call of help yesterday. And hey, Slunkerbomb, how are you doing? Good morning to you. But she was in complete distraught. And by the way, for everyone coming in, tough topic right now. We are talking about the Amouranth topic. For everyone who knows what's going on there and is like, oh no. Like, be warned. It's yeah. But yeah, so, and the worst part was when the husband probably realized what's going on and saw what's going on and came home. And basically the last thing we saw of her was him opening the door, and the stream was then cutting out afterwards. And then we have not heard of her ever since. So, like, look, I'm a very peaceful human being, but that man, I wish them all the worst in the world. I wish him all the worst. I will not go into this, but I wish all the worst to Keemstar. Like, screw you, man. Screw you. But yeah, it's the worst. We don't really know what her situation is. But man, that explains so much. You know, like, I have not really watched her content at all. But whenever I saw clips and screenshots, you know how somebody has this stare into the distance, where you just realize the person doesn't really want to be here, or the person doesn't really want to do this. And I always thought it was like fatigue, or just like, man, that woman gets a lot of abuse. Like, not from her husband, but like from the online community, because she is very liberal with what she is wearing and all that. And unfortunately, people are abusing this online, right? And I was always thinking, like, yeah, she probably has a lot of shit on her plate, right? So I was always thinking, like, yeah, this is this fatigue showing on stream, where she is just like, she needs a break. Was always my thinking when I saw this. But now that we are knowing about this, it becomes so much darker and so much more frightening and disgusting, right? Yeah, they were literally people, of course, who were like, wait, you were married? I gave you so much money over the years, and you were telling me you were married? It's like, do you even hear yourself? When I see some people like saying this, it's really like, do you hear yourself? You're basically the same shit stain as the husband is. You think if you're just throwing enough money at her, you own her. That makes you an absolute shitbag. Yeah, Tiny, it did remind me a little bit of the Britney Spears story. And look, I'm a content creator myself. I have been a content creator for 6 years, and it did definitely stop happening since I was not streaming on Mixer anymore, right? But remember those days where we were joking about random viewers sending me nudes or sending me boob pictures? And I never asked for this. I never wanted that. Oh God, I had to. Even with the sincerity of this topic, when I said I didn't ask for this, I couldn't. Tiny knows exactly what I thought when I said I didn't ask for this. I had to laugh a little bit inside when I said that. I never asked for this. Sorry. Back to the actual topic. But no, it was like one of those things where I have to say, look, I'm a guy. I'm a straight guy. All right? I like boobers as much as the next guys. I'm a boob guy. I always admitted that. But, and this is the but, this right here, this is my workplace. I'm working right now. I'm working to entertain you. I work to inform you. And I work to hopefully make your day a little bit better, or at least a little bit informed, or you could have a rambling in my chat and feel better about that. But this is my workplace. I'm not here for the booty, for dating, or for anything else. I am here because I'm doing my job. And when somebody thinks that I could just be persuaded to like them, to talk to them, to date them, or whatever, just because they are showing me their boobs, I find that kind of discriminating to a certain degree. Because that basically means, well, you're a guy, right? Like, you love boobs. Like, come on. Why would you be against this? I was like, no. Stop doing that. Especially in my work area. Like, I mean, truth to be told, I've seen enough boobs in my life. I mean, gosh, I did grow up in the times of the internet. I'm sorry. Like, if I ever want to see boobs, it's like, I know how to maneuver the internet. Thanks. Like, but just the point is, and this brings us to our next point. Like, we have talked about this quite a bit, and I think some people actually took this personally, when I always told you, you are not my friends. We are not friends. Well, okay, I'm now friends with some people. I am now friends with some people, with some streamers, and I really consider them my friends. They know my real name. They know, like, quite a bit of my private life as well. Like, there is a difference, right? There is. I made friends here. Don't get me wrong on this, okay? Don't get me wrong on this. Like, I can already see some of my friends actually messaging me and be like, oh, I see how it is. Oh, wow, okay. Whew. But no, like, for 90% or 95% of my viewers, we are not friends. You are here to hopefully get entertained and see me failing at whatever video game I'm playing, rambling about, like, whatever gaming news or topic we are rambling about. Like, I've been doing this for years. You know what you were getting into yourself. But I'm not your friend. And Slonko, thank you. I do appreciate that. By the way, folks, make sure that you are subscribing to Slonko Bomb if you want to see some really hilarious Nintendo old school playthroughs. She's playing a lot of like Nintendo games from the N64 era, and you should definitely check her out. She's also here on YouTube, and she's really entertaining and hilarious. I started to watch her, like I started to follow her a while ago, but I think I started to watch her I think 2 weeks ago. Like it was really like, what am I watching now? I need a freaking playthrough. And yeah, she also, by the way, she also started, before I forget it, she started also a playthrough on Nier Automata. That is the newest one she is playing right now. And she has amazing hair. If you haven't checked out her hair, like the hair alone is absolutely worth it, just saying. But yeah, she's also playing variety games. And make sure to check her out. No, like I've started to have your playthroughs on my second monitor sometimes, and unfortunately I cannot watch them live, but I watch them afterwards, and I had some good shit and giggles. Amazing hair. I love that hair. Like if my hair would look like that, like look at my hair, look at this shit fest up here, which clearly needs some like styling. Definitely make sure to check her out. Yeah. Right? No, my hair needs to be tamed. It needs to be cut, and it is horrid. I look, I'm very self-aware, and I can see that it is absolutely horrid. Thank you, also Draco. Thank you, buddy. Where are my moderators when I need them? Oh, wait, Lemons is here. But Lemons is not doing shit. But, no, back to the actual topic. Yeah, let me throw that in there. That's a channel. I mean, if I'm already talking about it. But to the actual topic back, like, I know that a lot of content creators are unfortunately using it and then getting a pretty big Pikachu face if people actually start to see them as friends. But most content creators just want to create their content, just want to feel like you're really, really enjoying the content you are producing, and that they are watching you because of the content. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I had where random people came in here in my channel, right? Especially on Mixer, and they were like, "Can you be my friend? Can we play together?" Like, what? What do you think streaming is? This is not a waiting hall for, forsaken children, and you can then like find their friend for a day. Like that's not really what streaming is about. I know that was a bit harsh. I didn't have like another way to describe it. My second language is striking here. I was looking for a way to describe it better. But no, seriously, it's like I had so many Xbox kids coming in my channel asking me if they could be my friend, if we could just play video games this very moment. And I was like, what? No? How do you, what? Like, I think a lot of people, and this is also a problem of the streamer side, Like not just the viewers, but also streamers who sometimes are very young and completely forgot or forget that what they are doing is their job and they should behave that way. Like, let me give you another example of this. I would say I have a pretty good relationship with Tiny. But beyond that, she is my channel artist. And I would never ask of her for a friend percentage, or like, hey, we have known each other for so many years, like, right, like, you're always hanging around on my channel, like, couldn't you like slash something on the pricing you were asking or something like that. I would never ask this because Tiny is sitting in my channel, and sorry Tiny if I'm dragging you into the spotlight like this, I'm really sorry, I swear I make up for it, but Tiny sitting in my channel is Tiny sitting in my channel as a viewer and as somebody who hopefully has fun enjoying my content. Me reaching out to Tiny and asking for new art to be done is me reaching out to Tiny on a business proposition. Nothing else. And I would never ask something like out of that business perspective, which is her providing the amazing art for my channel. Right? Like, and that is what people have to understand. Like, I think this is really what a lot of content creators are struggling on, or with, sorry. That there is a business part if you really, really want to have them business-wise, right? And there is the part where you can have friends, but to like split that up and keep it that way is the toughest part. And again, like, this is really something people have to learn. It's like, for a lot of time, it's business. Awesome. Yeah, by the way, if you want to have art made, Tiny has a long year of experience for arts for streamer and anything art, really. She is the art queen. I love her art. She is my channel creator. Make sure to check out her Twitter. She has also a Ko-fi there. Her art cons are open if you want to have something commissioned. Check out. And she has also like links where you can reach out to her. She is amazing to work with. She's doing amazing work. Has been doing so for many, many years for tons of other content creators. Check out. She's doing fantastic work, and like, she is so nice to work with. It's not just the art she's sending me, but also like the way how you can communicate with her regarding your art. It's just so good. So I have her in highest regards. I'm glad that we can make that distinction. It did have me worried back in the day, since I was new to freelancing at all. I can see that. When I started out freelancing and all that, I definitely I made some of those friend not friend mistakes. And I think that a lot of people have that problem, right? When they are getting into this freelancing business, and when they're becoming a streamer, and then they're becoming famous very quickly, they are quitting a lot of steps. And it never ends well. Again, this is the problem of a streamer, but also the problem of viewers. And there has to be, as Slonko already, am I allowed to call you Slonko? Or just Slonko Bomb? I'm sorry. Like, as you already said, right, there has to be much more discussion about parasocial connections between this streamer and the viewer, because this whole problem is not new. We have seen it in TV shows where people felt like they are connected to the character in the TV show, and they're starting to create like tendencies, and they are getting attached to a fictional character and whatnot. And we already had that, right? But with streaming, I think it became even more problematic because the person is real on the other side of the cam. Most of the time it's not a persona, and most of the time that person is also interacting with you. Right? So the whole like blurring the line between entertainment and the action is so much thinner in streaming. That, like, we have seen a lot of horror stories about it. Like, I still remember a few years back, there was an article about the streamer Elohim. It was like 1 a.m. in the morning or something, and somebody was ringing at his door. He was opening the door, and there was a dude standing basically with drinks or something in front of his door, and was like, "Hey, dude, can I come in? Let's have some fun together." And he was like, "Who the hell are you?" And he had to explain, "Oh yeah, I'm that and that streamer in your viewer in your channel, and I just came over here because I thought like we could have some like fun together." I was like, "Dude, my wife and my kid are sleeping up there. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. I don't know you. What the shit are you doing here?" Like, and I think he even came from Europe. I think that person did actually fly over from Europe to the US because that person really thought he is visiting his buddy. And it's freaking frightening, man. Like, that's the reason why I'm keeping like my personal private life like pretty much in check when it comes to this here, right? Where I'm trying to just make sure there is a lot less information about me out there. There's the part of it all which is the scariest. Yeah, I'm like, one of the things I always dreaded, and I'm kind of happy that it cannot happen here, is like the swatting accidents in the USA, where people are getting swatted. Right. I'm so glad that it cannot happen here where I live because, well, because Europe, and we don't really have that. Like, the worst thing which could ever happen is that the police officer is basically coming over here and is like knocking at the door and is like, "Hey, you're good in there?" Yeah, I'm good, thank you." That's basically it, right? But I have seen those swatting accidents on streams in the USA, and it's just, whoa. Yeah, Draco. Yeah. I can say similar things, or would refer to them as online friends, right? But yeah, I'm pretty much with you on that, Draco. It's like, speaking of personal stuff, there might be some stuff we have to talk about soonish, but it's nothing negative, by the way. It's nothing negative, but I've been thinking about this for a while to bring this up, at least to keep you in the loop. I'll probably talk about that briefly on stream, and then yep. But yeah, as I said, like, to loop back to the whole Amouranth thing, I really just hope for Amouranth that she can get out of that abusive relationship as much as possible, that she gets the help from actual friends who can help her, that the dude is getting into some serious trouble here. Like, as somebody who has been in some really bad relationships in the past, abusive even, I wish her nothing like the best. Like, there's a reason why I'm single for over 3 years, right? It's like, yeah. So I hope she can get out of there unharmed and will be safe, because like, it's not just that relationship, also the job she has to do, like everything she has been apparently doing as a Twitch streamer really was not necessarily her doing in the end, and she never wanted that, so that makes it even worse. All right, but with that said, I would say we are done with the gaming news, and we'll come back to some stuff later.